hi everyone, this is Johnny. Welcome back to my channel. So for those of you who are returning, you have subscribed, you're returning to see my video, thanks a lot. And for those of you who is the very first time, viewing my video, welcome. Right, so today I'm going to be reviewing the Amoi V9 version 3 wireless earbuds. Now, this is a pair of earbuds which I actually bought from Shopee Singapore, which is an online shopping platform, for just under $10. In fact, I think it was about $9.50 after I actually applied all the necessary like vouchers and discounts. All right. So I have actually been using these earbuds for the past 2 weeks, as my daily. And I have to say, this wireless earbuds, they actually exceeded my expectations. But I'll come to that a little bit later. All right. Now, if you have missed my unboxing of the Amoi V9, wireless earbuds, I've actually included the video description, below. All right. So do check them out if you actually missed that. But of course, before we begin, it would be awesome if you could actually smash the like button, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you actually like my content. Thanks. Right, so first up, I'll actually begin with the general build and the quality. Now, the packaging itself is rather basic. The material of the earbuds itself, it's plastic, and the overall build quality, I would say, is average. And now, when you look at the earbuds itself, now the top cover is actually reflective finishing. Now, and of course, the bottom of the case is actually which houses the battery, and the earbuds is actually matte finishing. Now, when you open the top lid, it is actually translucent, and this is actually quite good because when you close the lid, it actually allows you to see the charging status, like how much battery life is left, what is the status of your earbuds, when it's actually charging, right? It's quite a nice touch to it. Now, the company label Amoi is actually printed on the top lid itself, and of course, being a reflective and shiny surface, it's actually not very scratch resistant, as you can see from here. All right, I just put it a bit closer so they can see it. Yeah, it has some scratches because usually I'll just drop it into my my bag. Okay, yeah. So now the manufacturer actually claims that it has a 150 total battery life. The battery case has a 2000 milliamp battery size. It's IPX7 rating. It has dual mode, and it actually has a power bank. I'll come to those claims a little bit later. I'll go on to the earbuds itself. Now, the earbuds is slightly bumped. What you will see that you will feel that the edges, the edge of the earbud actually has a slight indent and then followed by a slight bump. So this is where the touch controls are located. All right. Now, the overall design of the earbuds, I would say, is pretty low profile, very minimalist design, which I like. Okay. Now, the ear tip provided are actually rather thin. It's quite thin, and it feels like cheap rubber or cheap plastic. Okay, it doesn't really makes it feel premium. Now, besides that, there are two types of indicators, built into the power bank. All right, you will see that in the middle, the numbers, that is actually a power indicator for the percentage of battery left in the charging case. And then on the left and right, you will see 4 running bars, green in color. That is to show you the charging status of your left and right earbuds. Okay, so that would be the indication. All right, now the overall size of the earbuds and the overall size of the charging case itself, I would say, is rather huge. If you look at, I just put it in my palm, it's actually pretty big. It reminds me of those Zippo lighter. It's that kind of size. And of course, besides that, I wouldn't actually recommend you to actually keep it in your pocket because it will be like bulging out. So it will be best, to actually just throw it into your backpack or into your purse or into your handbag, and not in your front pocket of your jeans or in your pants, because it's pretty thick. All right. Now, the way it charges will be by micro USB. All right, that will be the inlet, and then there is no wireless charging, all right, built into this. And in terms of the way when you're putting in the ear tip, it actually goes like midway into an ear canal. So and the good thing about that is, now the surprising part is that I wear it for long hours. Whenever I am testing earbuds, I actually wear them for very long hours, like 3 hours and about 3 to 4 hours, per charge. And surprisingly, even though the ear tips are rather thin, they actually do not give me ear fatigue, when I was wearing it for long hours. That's something to take note for those of you who are worried about ear fatigue. All right. In terms of its IPX7 claim, you can just wear it, for jogging, for exercise, for workout, to gym. And even if, let's say, your earbuds were to suddenly, fall out from your ear, which actually for my case, it actually did once. It just accidentally dropped out. I was like, I was just like, fumbling, and it just dropped into a glass of water. Now, the earbuds actually shut off immediately. Now, that I would say is a very, very smart design. Another thing is that, when I took it out from the glass, I just actually washed it directly under a running tap and it was perfectly fine. After that, I just, damp it down, dry it out, and then I was popping it back into my ear and continue to listen. Everything was fine. Okay. In terms of the touch control, it's not too sensitive. You will actually, I would say that, you will need to have a good pressure on the bump, like one tap, two tap, to pause or to play or the next track. All right, you have to have a decent amount, just have to have a little bit more pressure. I don't really know how to describe it. You will have to actually use it to know what I mean. All right, because sometimes you get very irritated when you just want to adjust your earbuds and then just a slight brush, it pauses the music or it skips to the next track. All right, that's something to consider. Now, besides that, it actually doesn't have any built-in volume control, okay, within the earbuds itself. So this also means that it doesn't have its own mobile app, and this also leads to the touch control. It's not customizable, right? So these are things to consider, okay, if you're looking at this particular earbuds. Now, in terms of noise cancellation, because it's actually in ear, so when you're wearing it does give you certain level of very basic passive noise cancellation. In fact, when I was using it for the past 2 weeks, it actually does very well in blocking out, the train sound. When I'm sitting in the train, I'm just listening to the music, it is actually able to block out most of the noise from the train, except for the in-train announcement, to tell me what is the next train station, and so on and so forth. Now, in terms of the battery life, I have to say, the battery life for the Amoi, it is just incredible. I'm not kidding about this. In fact, just want to restate, is that I actually bought these earbuds with my own money, so it's not sponsored. I have to say that, I had to test it for 2 weeks, because when I was using it for the first week, the battery life was only, I was only able to use up about 40%. By the end of the 7th day of the first week, the battery life was only down to, I was only able to use up about 40%. There is still a good 60% left, in the tank, and I was only able to fully deplete the entire, battery. I think it was halfway through day 13, before I was required to, charge it halfway at at work. So this is something which was unexpected. I mean, this incredible battery life, you know, it really went over my expectation. I mean, and I always say it also stood up to its claim, you know, of having, you know, a maximum battery life of 150 hours, because 2 weeks is amazing. All right, now down to the earbuds itself. Okay, the earbuds, the battery life is about 100 milliamps. So with such a big, you know, battery life, okay, battery size, now it actually really, it directly translate into very decent usage. I mean, when I was listening to music, all right, at 40%, I was able to use it for about 5.5 hours. You know, I think it was about 5.5, close to 6, yeah, around there. I would take an average of about 5.5 hours. All right, so at music, 40% volume, 5.5 hours, incredible. Now, it's even incredible when it comes to phone calls. I mean, I was able to, you know, like, I remember there was one incident whereby I had to be on a phone call. In fact, it was 2 phone call, very long duration. And, you know, I was able to use it for more than 6 hours. You know, it's like both phone calls, I remember, add up to a total usage of about 6 or 6.5 hours. You know, that was on one particular occasion, you know, and it was like, wow, I was still able to, you know, it still has some juice inside, you know, I was still able to hear some music, you know, for about half an hour before it just goes off. You know, in fact, for that particular incident, I actually forgotten to charge my earbuds on that particular occasion. All right. So in terms of Zoom call, Skype call, you don't need to worry much, because I was able to clock, I think on one particular webinar, I was able to clock around 4 hours at maximum volume. You know, so if you look at, you know, my previous usage, music was 5.5 hour at 40% volume. You know, phone calls was able to be at about 6.5 to 7 hours. You can be rest assured that if you're going to use this for like a full day webinar on Zoom, on, you know, Skype, on Microsoft Teams, rest assured it is going to deliver. You know, you don't need to worry about, you know, you need to plug out and this kind of stuff. It's going to deliver that longevity. All right. Now, the charging case itself, like I say, you know, I had to test it for 2 weeks to really, you know, see when it would die off. All right, so the 2000 milliamp battery size, it really allows me to charge and recharge my earbuds countless times. It's like I've lost count. In fact, when I was doing the review, you know, for that 2 weeks period, I actually lost count, like, of how many times I actually, you know, recharge my earbuds, you know. But of course, the manufacturer claims that, you know, you're actually able to recharge it up to 20 times, okay, based on the battery size. Okay, now one good thing is that, you know, you're able to actually recharge the earbuds independently, you know, if you just want to use one side. So that's a good thing, and it actually recharges the earbuds pretty fast. I think it takes about 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Yeah, that's like the duration of like 4 songs, and it's ready to use again. Charging the case from 0 to 100, I think it takes about 3 hours or 3.5. Yeah, I think it takes around there. All right. And then of course the LED display, all right, it will switch off when it's 100% charged. And the thing is, the last part is that it can really double up as a power bank. It can really, you know. But of course, don't expect fast charge, please. You know, it's just 2 ampere. I mean, the power out, you know, is just 2 ampere. All right. So, but still, you know, it works as an emergency power bank. You know, yeah. I mean, a earbud double up as an emergency power bank. You know, you don't really find that anywhere. All right. Okay, so now in terms of connectivity, in terms of the initial pairing with your smartphone, your Android or your iPhone or your PC, it's pretty effortless. Just pick up the left side and the right side, and then just switch on your Bluetooth, and then you tap on it, it's paired. Okay, so after it's paired, okay, you will be able to use the earbuds independently, to your own preference. All right. Now in terms of consistency of its connectivity, I would say it's pretty awesome. It's pretty good. I only remember very rare intermittent connection. I think it only happened once or twice when I was jogging. Yeah. It could be due to there was some low frequency, joggers around me, that were using their Bluetooth earbuds at the same frequency, and then there was some interruption. But other than that, it's fine. Whether it's on my Android phone or on my iPhone or I'm using on PC, the connection is there. Okay, and then besides that, of course, switching between music, phone calls, WhatsApp call, and this kind of stuff, it's good. All right, so that's on the connectivity. Now, in terms of listening to music, the audio is actually pretty loud, even at 30 to 40%. But of course, when you crank it up to max volume, certain songs will start to crack. Yeah, especially I remember a couple of very bassy songs or EDMs, or certain songs whereby the singer will go very high pitch, the audio will start to crack. But I would say it's that the audio quality it's average, but it's overall it's actually, I personally find it that it's actually acceptable, for basic day-to-day listening. Now, in terms of audio quality for games and calls, I would say it's pretty okay. For games, it's above average. Now, but it's just that for microphone, for microphone quality, I would say it's largely depends on two things. Firstly, it depends on your location. Secondly, it depends on what type of call, all right, that you're using. I would say is that now for phone calls, for WhatsApp call, or for FaceTime, etc., the microphone quality, it really depends on where you are. If you're indoor like now, in a room, pretty quiet, the microphone, it's pretty okay. Nothing to shout about. But if you're outside, outdoor, like you're walking on the street, or you're walking next to a busy road, well, the person on the opposite will not be able to hear a single thing you're trying to say. In fact, it will just pick up all the environment noise, all right? So it's basically inaudible if you're outdoors. But when it comes to Zoom, Skype, the audio quality and especially the mic quality, I would say is above average. At the end, what would be my final verdict? Well, I would say that in terms of the pros, it's incredible battery life, right? It's incredible battery life. The build quality is average, right? Touch control, but it actually has decent audio quality for gameplay, for Skype, for Zoom, and not only that, it has IPX7 claim, which means to say that, like what I mentioned, if you accidentally drop it into water, or when it comes in contact with water, the earbuds automatically shuts down, so that you don't have some form of electrocution, which is nice. All right, but in terms of the downside, it's rather big. The size itself is rather it's rather beefy. All right, I wouldn't really recommend it to put into your pockets. Instead, put into your handbag, your purse, or your backpack. All right. Average audio quality for music, doesn't have dedicated EQ. Very poor quality for phone calls. If you're outdoors, or you're in a train. But if you ask me, is it decent? Well, I would say that it's a very decent earbud. you are looking for a pair of, entry level wireless earbuds, all right, to use for day to day, all right, and even if you're actually working from home, I would definitely recommend the Amoi F9 version 3, all right. Besides that, I can actually understand why it's not the number one bestseller in Shopee Singapore, probably due to its size because it's so huge, all right. But if, let's say, for example, if the manufacturer in future iterations, if it's going to improve it, if it's able to bring down its size probably by another like 25% or 30%, but still keeping the same battery capacity, I won't be surprised if it jumps immediately to becoming, the best seller in Shopee. All right. So that's it from me. All right. Thanks for watching this review. I hope that my in-depth review and my honest opinion about this particular earbud, it's able to help you. All right. If you like it, please smash the like button, the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if to receive the latest notification for my upcoming videos. And other than that, please feel free to leave your comments and your thoughts, all right, below in the comment section. For those of you here who also owns the Amoi F9 earbuds, feel free to leave your experience as well, okay. And of course, for those of you who wants to ask me questions, okay, regarding this earbuds, okay, feel free to drop it below as well, right? Because I've been using it for the past 2 weeks. So if there are any problems you'd like me to actually resolve, feel free to drop it in the comments below. So anyway, guys, that's all the time we have for today. All right, my name is Johnny, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.